Oh my god, hey! Welcome back to my Stage YouTube channel. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Mickey Joe and I am obsessed with all things theatre. I was recently invited to go and see the Waitress tour on its opening night at the New Victoria Theatre in Woking. This was really exciting to me because I love Waitress. I've seen it a few times before. This was my 4th visit to the show and my 2nd visit to the tour. I also really love this venue. This is one of my favourite regional theatres in the UK. It's where I used to go and see a lot of shows while I was at university, and I also worked there as an usher for a brief period. So I was really excited to go back as a theatre reviewer and go and see something in that capacity. Now, because it was press night, I was given this very lovely complimentary programme of the Waitress UK tour cast. It has up-to-date information about all of the cast, and it has up-to-date images as well, which is really impressive because the cast has only recently changed. Here is Chelsea Halfpenny as Jenna. She started in December after Lucy Jones left to be in Wicked. Excuse me, I need to warm up if I'm gonna... Hold on. Wicked! 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 Chelsea joined the show in December after Lucy Jones left to be in Wicked! And because I am a hoarder and I do not need any more theatre programmes, I'm going to be doing a giveaway of this. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is to make sure you have liked this video, subscribed to my Stager YouTube channel, if you haven't already, why on earth not, and comment down below with hashtag MickeyJoeGiveaway. If you want to be in with an extra chance of winning, head over to my social media pages on Twitter and Instagram, both at MickeyJoeTheatre, where you will be able to share some tweets and posts to your story for an extra chance to win. Full details about this giveaway competition will be down below in the description of the video. So without any further ado, let's talk about Waitress. So I enjoy Waitress as a show. In the past, I've gone up and down on it a little bit in terms of how much I love it. This was far and away my favourite visit to this show. I just really enjoyed everything about it this time. And something about going to see a show that you've seen before lets you notice little details in the thing. And, you know, I've noticed before about all of the ensemble choreography and the staging and how they're moving things around her. But even from the beginning, I was just so much more focused on the cleverness of that staging and the brilliance that Diane Paulus does with this. You know, on the face of it, it's a very sort of straightforward piece of theatre, and then it's really a lot more clever than it would have you believe in terms of like the positioning of the band, and every time like a band soloist came out, like the guy with the cello who comes out and stands behind when that's a featured instrument. It's a deceptively sophisticated staging of a piece of theatre masquerading as something very commercial, which is clever. So Waitress is a 4-star show for me. I always describe it as not necessarily a Saturday night show. It's the kind of show I would like to watch on a rainy Sunday afternoon. It's just a dessert of a show. It's so delicious and delectable and just warm and cozy to me. I have to talk straight away about Chelsea Halfpenny as Jenna. Now, I loved Lucy Jones in this role. I've loved most of the performers that I've seen in this role. I saw Sarah Bareilles play Jenna, and vocally, completely unmatched. Fantastic. Chelsea Halfpenny may be my favourite acting performance I have seen as Jenna Hunterson, which is big talk, I know. So singing wise, she sounded delightful. She has a beautiful vocal tone. She looks like a hybrid between Lucy Jones and Kerry Russell, who played Jenna in the movie. She looks very much like Kerry Russell, actually. And vocally, she didn't do anything crazy. She didn't put extra riffs in or extra options. It was quite a straightforward delivery of the score as is written, which, you know, is fine. Let's go back to a place where we don't need crazy riffs, we don't need crazy high notes, and that's not the standard that we're going to judge a performance by. You can sing it as written, as was originally intended, and it is still delightful, which it absolutely was. What I really loved about Chelsea's Jenna is she was so much more fun. I think because difficult things happen to her and she's navigating this difficult time in her life, and from the beginning of when we meet her, she's already kind of knows that she might be pregnant and she's thinking about that, and she has all of this going on emotionally. A lot of times they can get quite morose and they can get quite somber and they can get quite bogged down in that. But she found every single moment of levity that she could. Her interactions with Dawn and with Becky and with old Joe brought out such a lovely colour in her, where she was able to just be light and effervescent, and it was nice to see that side of her so she's not just depressed the entire time. Also, she was flirty as hell with Dr. Pomatter, which I don't remember seeing quite as much before. When Catherine McPhee did the role, she was really quite uncomfortable with him up until the point that something happened. Like when she said, "You make me uncomfortable," it was definitely a lot more awkward until they finally gave into their feelings. But here you saw that coming from a mile off, and when she called him to be like, "Oh, should I come in?" it was definitely like she was trying to get something out of it. And when she delivered the line to say, "Is that it? There's not anything else you want to say to me?" after he told her she was fine and he was eating her pies. That was really interesting, her delivery of that, because she was very much like, Isn't there something else you want to say?" I enjoyed what that represented in their relationship because it made it a lot less just professionally irresponsible on his part. It felt more like they were both approaching it from the same direction at the same speed. Now, Dr. Pomatter at this performance was played by, and I need to pronounce this correctly because it's some type of a Scandinavian name. Is it still just Nathaniel Landskroner? He was fantastic. Aside from being easily the most attractive Dr. Pomatter I've ever seen, my goodness. He was just really lovable and really goofy and just sang beautifully. He had this kind of rock tenor edge to his voice, which I really appreciated, but just his physicality and such great chemistry with her. And they will only have played opposite each other a handful of times because she's only recently taken over and he's only gone on a few times since then. But it was just the right kind of awkwardness, because you have these different male characters in the show, and you have Ogie and you have Dr. Pomatter, and they have to be different kinds of awkward, but he still needs to come in a way that it's not going to be seen as him taking any kind of an advantage or him being just wildly unprofessional. You have to root for this relationship, you have to root for this guy, and you have to understand the attraction in him, and on this occasion I absolutely did. Perhaps the most chemistry I have ever seen between those two. Evelyn Hoskins as Dawn is just brilliant every time I see her. This is my third time seeing her in the role. I'm still noticing new things that she's doing. The characterization is just fantastic. Sandra Marvin is so warm and so lovely as Becky. She really grounds the show emotionally in so many moments and delivers so many of the great early laughs that I think really help to pick up steam and just propel the whole thing forwards. It really welcomes the audience into it and lets them know that it's okay to laugh in this story, because there's not a lot of laughs in the beginning. Where the laughs do really start, however, is where George Crawford comes on as Ogie. I saw George in the tour last year and he was absolutely my favourite thing about it. He still steals the show completely when he comes in and sings Never Ever Getting Rid of Me. I like that him and Evelyn are both young and both tiny as Dawn and Ogie. They are such a cute little couple. They work so well together. They have such a believable just bond and chemistry on stage. His physicality is fantastic. His accent is brilliant. All of his line deliveries are just ridiculous and fun. And he pitches it so well, because Ogie is another character where it could absolutely come across in a creepy way, and you know, you have to deliver that in a way that is lovable and goofy and not stalkerish. At this point I'm just shouting out the entire cast, but I loved this cast. I thought they were all fantastic. I didn't have an issue with anyone at this performance. And I do specifically want to shout out, where is he? Here he is, Michael Stark. Michael Stark played Joe, the old man who owns the diner, and I really enjoyed him. You know, he's always an underrated part of the show, and when we get to his scenes and when we get to his song, I'm always like, gosh, I enjoy this so much more than I always expect to. At this performance particularly, I just really loved his moments. It's such a lovely piece of writing when he has those interactions with Jenna. It brings out such truth and such vulnerability from both of them as characters, and it's just lovely. Also, big shout out to Amelia Atherton, who went on as Nurse Norma while also doing her ensemble track. Big shout out to Olivia Mitchell, who was doing crazy different swing tracks in the ensemble, because she was like appearing as Jenna's mum in a flashback and then came on almost immediately afterwards as a pregnant woman in jeans. And I'm like, how you just got changed from leggings into jeans in a split second and became pregnant in the wings? Like, that is a feat, let me tell you. This entire theatre going experience was just a lovely evening. I saw the show on Valentine's Day and it was a beautiful reception that we had at the New Victoria Theatre in Woking. Like I said, this was my first time going as press. They had a lot of merchandise available. I will say, I am still sad that they don't sell the little pie jars on tour. I loved those little pie jars. I know technically they were cheesecakes. I don't care, they still tasted delicious. I'm not about a technicality, I will eat it. It's got sugar in, fine, I'm eating it. So it is still very difficult to top She Used to Be Mine. I mean, I was just thinking as she sang it, is it the best musical theatre standalone solo song written in the last 10 years? Very possibly. It has to be up there in at least a top 10 musical theatre songs written in the last 10 years. It has become completely iconic and it just got this enormous applause. It allows you to access so much emotionally, vocally. As a performer, it's a gift of a song. It comes at exactly the right moment in the show. The staging of it is perfect, the lighting, the set design, all of it just comes together perfectly to create that moment of absolute triumph. I will say as well, because you root so much for the characters in this production, that the entire wedding sequence that goes from I Love You Like a Table through Take It From an Old Man and just the little chat between Jenna and Becky, all of that is so lovely and it's just such a great part of the show. I could live in that moment forever. I didn't want any of that sequence to end. Something else I'd also forgotten happened in the show is the scene before You Matter to Me. Now I know that song is coming, but I'm always surprised when he appears and learns how to bake the pie with her. I think that's such a beautifully written section of dialogue. It's a lovely scene between the two of them and it always takes me pleasantly by surprise. Who would enjoy this show? I mean, if you don't already know Waitress, this is a lovely show. It's a perfect show for a date night. It's a perfect show to take your teenagers to. There was a family there with their younger daughter, and there is a bit at the start of Act 2 that you're not going to want to talk about in the car journey on the way home, but it's fairly easy to just pretend it didn't happen. Sexual stuff. It's just a lovely show about humanity and love, and it's just really nice. It's really wholesome and heartwarming and uplifting, and you can take anyone to this show. It's great for grandparents, it's great for couples, it's great for families. Everyone can enjoy this show. Thank you so much for watching my review of Waitress on its UK tour. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to subscribe to my Stage YouTube channel where there is plenty more content, plenty more reviews about a lot of other shows currently open. If you have seen the tour cast of Waitress already or you're going to see it soon, let me know down in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to comment with hashtag #MickeyJoeGiveaway for a chance to win this very exciting Waitress UK tour program. And if you want to support me as a Stagey content creator, head over to patreon.com/MickeyJoeTheatre, where for a variety of membership options, you can gain access to all sorts of exclusive photo and video content, including some extra special videos that will never be seen on YouTube. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey, thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!